Hello people! So I'm filming this right after I filmed the intro and the outro of my last video because I'm now gonna go into my wrap up of October. So I didn't read much in August or September, but in October I finally got rid of the bachelor thesis and was reading again. The first book I read was The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton and I loved it. This book is really dark and really mysterious. Didn't let go of me for a very long time. I was still thinking about this book like 3-4 weeks later. I'm still thinking about the book. So good. This story is really hard to summarize without giving away spoilers because it is so unpredictable, but the basic setup is that we have 18-year-old Nella Ortman who comes to Amsterdam because she was married to Johannes Brandt, who is a very successful merchant, and she gets a little miniature house, which is a miniature of her own house from her husband as a wedding gift, and there's something weird about that miniature house and the miniaturist who creates all those little miniature furnitures for her. Also, if you're wondering why I'm filming in front of empty shelves, that's because I rearranged my room and I had books in those shelves. If you check out my last video on my main channel, you can see that. But my parents then told me that they're gonna renovate my entire room, so I had to get them out of the room again so that we can paint the walls and do the carpet and stuff like that. So that's why I'm filming in front of empty shelves. The next book I finished in October is Meinte, wie ich London schaffte, oder, mich by Emmy Abrahamson. And this is a German book. It's originally Swedish, I think, and I'm not sure if there's an English translation. This book is about an 18-year-old girl who comes to London because she wants to study acting at the Royal Drama School, and she has no idea what's awaiting her, and London is a little bit much for her at the beginning, but she learns to live there. And she learns to get by, and I thought this book was really funny and I liked it. It's a series, so I might be going into the next books of the series, but we'll see. I also got again, and the first manga series that I finished is Zaubernüsse für Natsumi by Haruka Fukushima. It's really silly, it's really funny, and it's basically about this 11-year-old girl who finds these nuts, these magical nuts, and whenever she eats them, she turns into a grown woman. Shenanigans ensues. The next book I read in October is The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith, or J.K. Rowling, and it's a crime fiction, and it's by J.K. Rowling, and it's gorgeous, and I love the characters, and the mystery was really great, and I didn't guess anything. Like, it was not predictable at all. And I'm definitely gonna go into the silkworm, and I put this off way too long because I didn't really like the casual vacancy. This has a similar writing style in that it's really direct and really... it has a lot of F-bombs in it, etc. So it has a similar writing style to Casual Vacancy, and it's also kind of depressing, but it also is much funnier than a Casual Vacancy. So I like that. I like the humor in this, and I really love the characters. The next book was my absolute favorite read of the month, and it's First and Then by Emma Mills, or Elmify here on YouTube. I've been watching Elmify's videos for a very long time, and when I heard that she's going to have a book out, I had to read it. And this book was so good. I laughed out loud, I cried, I laughed again, and I loved every second of it. I flew through it. I couldn't put it down. I was literally up until 4 AM or something, and I was like, I have to stop, I have to sleep, but I don't want to stop. And then I stopped, and then I went to bed, and when I woke up, I picked up the book again and finished it. It was so good. One of the best books I read this year. So good. I'm gonna read this over and over and over again. So there were a lot of big releases in October, for instance The Copper Gauntlet, which I'm currently reading, and Queen of Shadows, which I've not yet started reading because I don't own the book. But there was also Silber by Kerstin Gier. This is the third book in the trilogy, and it's shiny! Look at this gorgeous cover. Isn't this pretty? And I only have the dust jacket because a friend of mine is currently reading this and she's loving it. I loved it. It's a perfect conclusion, and I'm absolutely looking forward to whatever Kerstin decides to write next because I absolutely adore her writing. So the first book in the series has just been released in English, and it's called Dream a Little Dream, and it's basically about Liv, who kind of gets wrapped up with this group of people who walk in dreams, like who have lucid dreams and can walk into this dream corridor and visit each other's dreams and stuff like that. It's scary in some parts, and it's really funny in other parts, and oh, the mixture is just so good. Love that series. I'm gonna reread that series many times as well. And the next book I read was Männer, andere, Katastrophen by Kerstin Gier. Again, Kerstin Gier, just hilarious. This is just a quick read. And it's about a girl who's at uni and she has no luck with the guys and her friends have no luck with guys, and just about that, just life. And the character is really funny and the dialogues are just so good. I laughed out loud in the train. I have to say that this is not really my favorite adult book by Kerstin Gier. I think I like the Muttermafia much better, but it was also really nice and I like her writing style, so what can I say? As I said, I started getting into manga again, and a series that I picked up in October is Ranma 1/2. I already read that when I was about 14 and I loved it, and I'm currently collecting the entire series. I'm missing 4, I think. This is really fast-paced. It's so hilarious. The way the characters work with each other, it's so over the top and funny, and I'm just laughing out loud. I cry laughter. It's one of my favorites. It has to be one of my favorite mangas and anime of all time. This is by Rumiko Takahashi, who's also the author of Inuyasha, which I also really loved and which is a bit more well known. So the story is about Ranma. This is Ranma as a girl, but actually he's a boy. He was in China with his father and they trained in this training ground with a lot of springs, and he fell into the spring of the drowned girl, so every time he touches cold water, he turns into a girl, and every time he touches warm water, he turns back into a boy, and his father fell into the spring of the drowned panda, so every time he touches cold water, he turns into a panda. It's really funny because these are not the only 2 characters who fell in some of these cursed springs, and people are shape-shifting all the time. And also Ranma is supposed to marry Akane, and she is his fiancée, but they don't really get along. They fight a lot, but you really see that they like each other. It develops over time. The one thing I have to say about this series is if you're not okay with nudity, don't read it. It has a lot of nudity, just because whenever they change form, for instance, this pig is actually a guy, and when he's a pig, he only has this little scarf thingy, and when he turns back, he's entirely nude, except for this scarf thingy. And also Ranma, in his girl form, doesn't have any decency or something. He just runs around half naked all the time because he's a boy and he doesn't care about his girl buddy. So that was everything I read in October. I'm currently reading The Copper Gauntlet, as I already said, and I'm also continuing Ranma, and I'm on book 6 now. So yes, you're gonna see a lot of Ranma in my next wrap-up. I'm slowly getting back into this YouTube thing. Life is still crazy. I have no idea why things haven't stopped being crazy yet. You will see whenever I upload another video. I cannot promise you a regular schedule in the sense of a schedule, but I will keep the videos coming now. I'm back, I hope. Let me know down in the comments if you read any of the books that are here and what you thought about them, and if you have any manga to recommend, tell me down below and I will see if I can get my hands on that. So yes, that was that for my wrap up. I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye bye!